Hey friends, I'm at a house that just hit the market here on Lake Spier in Winter Park, and there's a few things going on here I'd like to share with you. First of all, great buildable lot here. There's a 1,700 square foot house, a block home, and this could be updated and renovated, but they are, I think the highest and best use here is somebody's probably gonna buy this lot on Lake Spier, which is a great little lake here in the city of Winter Park, and a very quiet neighborhood back here, and probably build a new custom home. I just sold a house 2 doors down this past summer, where somebody did exactly that. They bought a house, scraped it, and put up a beautiful home. And experienced some stuff when we were selling that I think are worth talking about that I'm going to share with you here, in addition to kind of a quick rundown on Lake Spier. So Lake Spier is a private lake. It's probably characterize it as a great jet ski lake. I've actually seen somebody on this lake years ago with a ski boat, and they were pulling some kids on a tube. You'll see on the arrows and stuff that I'll include on the video here. It's doable, but it's kind of ambitious just because of the size. But it is nice, private, quiet, neighborhood is kind of a little bit of a hidden gem because it's in Winter Park. You've got the probably the most sought after public school in Orange County here in Central Florida in the Winter Park High District this feeds into. And you are located, we're lake behind me. That's pretty much due north. And so we've got a sunrise coming up over here and sunsets over there in the west, and just probably about a 7-minute drive from Old Winter Park and Park Avenue. And that is if you're not familiar with it, one of Central Florida's most famous destinations for, Michelin rated. Lots of neat, they do a lot of events there. Park, beautiful little area there in Old Winter Park. So quick drive to Old Winter Park, and then if you go in the other direction to the south, we're kind of sandwiched between Old Winter Park and Baldwin Park. Baldwin Park's a newer community, went up, I think probably about 20, 25 years ago. And they've got a shopping and dining district down there. A lot of activity goes on, so it's really kind of a primo location, and that's this neighborhood back here around Lake Spier. There's no cut-throughs, it's very quiet, a lot of quiet residential area. And again, it's kind of tucked back in here, and really one of the last undiscovered little waterfront communities in Winter Park. And you're starting to see turnover here of some of these older original, ranch style Florida homes that have been on the lakes for decades, and people are starting to come in and pick them up and scrape them and put up some really, really gorgeous properties back here. So it's a little bit about Lake Spier. So Lake Spier, very clear water, crystal clear lake. It's got some deep spots out there. Water levels remains fairly consistent. I know the house I sold down the street had part of it was partially in the AE flood zone. They built up above that, so there was not an issue for them. And it's a private lake. There's no public access. You are allowed docks, obviously, and again, if you want to fit a larger boat on here, you could. But I would great, kayak, paddleboard, maybe lake, how I would characterize it. A couple things I want to talk about that this property is a good example of. So they've put this on the market at 1.35, and we'll see what happens. That's probably not a crazy price for the market today. So you can't get Waterfront in a park for less than 7 figures. Some things that come up a lot when I'm talking to people with looking at waterfront properties. First of all, the county, the municipality, and the MLS, they all show this as just over an acre of land. This is a great example. You do have a nice sized lot here, but I don't think we've got a full acre of land. I'm gonna look it up when I get back, because a lot of times, and there's no real consistency to this, but most often our lakes here, our waterfront properties here in Central Florida, the lot is actually deeded out into the lake. And there's some exceptions to that. Again, we're gonna confirm, but sometimes you'll see, the property that's stated on the county websites and whatnot will show is larger than your actual high and dry property. So that's the first thing to understand. The other thing to know that's interesting about this particular neighborhood, and I've experienced this with the house we just sold 2 doors down, the city of Winter Park with their sewer services is it's not consistent. There's a number of properties in Winter Park that don't have public sewer, and so you have homes with septic systems on them. Septic systems are not bad. Some people, they scare a lot of people off. They don't like them. I like the idea of not having to pay for sewer service, but it does require a different type of maintenance. They do have to be maintained, drain fields replaced, 15, 20 years, kind of depending on what the usage is. And the important thing to understand before you go into a property like this, understand your septic constraints, because what it does is a septic system requires a certain footprint depending on the type of system that you use, depending on the size of the house and whatnot. And so it can create some constraints on your construction for the footprint of the house. The one I sold 2 doors down, the owner had to get a little bit creative in terms of actually breaking their drain field into 2 sections, going underneath the drive to kind of split it up and whatnot. All of it, again, it takes some understanding. And the other thing on into, and I think that's what we have here, I'm not positive, I'll confirm, but I believe that's the old tank, septic tank back here. When these homes were built years ago, it was very common for the drain fields to be put in the backyard of the property, lakeside. And those laws have changed over the years and tried to push the septic systems further away from the bodies of water, because they leak nutrients and whatnot, and can, I think it's the nitrogen levels in which can cause excessive weed growth and algae. So this is probably, again, I'm going to find out. I think this is going to be a situation where somebody's probably going to buy this property, scrape the house, build a beautiful home here, and then we'll also be relocating the drain field and the septic system to the front yard. And you have setbacks that are required as far as where it can be and the size of it and all that stuff. But you've got a backyard or a front yard over here that is going to accommodate a drain field of some sort at some point. So again, something to understand on the front end before you get knee deep into it, kind of understand what those costs are and how the footprint of your house. If you like this, subscribe down below. And if you want to see more content like this or anything more specific, let me know what it is. Love to do it. I'm Mike Darenthal. Thanks.